How would you describe yourself? How would you describe your identity if someone was to ask you? I'm curious because in this episode, we're going to explore how the way that you think about yourself or how others affects the successes you have in life. So if you're ready to look at how you can change your identity and have the results that you want, let's dive in. I'm Dara Thomason. This is the Quilters Coach Podcast, episode 211, Identity Shifts That Make Weight Loss a Side Effect. Today we're going to be talking about how we can change the way we look at ourselves and what impact that has. I'm going to tell you some interesting stories so that you can judge for yourself where you fall in the spectrum of self-belief, self-denial, wherever you fall. It's going to be an interesting exercise for you to do. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to keep this one brief because I want you to think about it and really look at where you are in your own life. But before I go into that, I want to share just a win. One of the members in the membership, she has a few kids and she has a huge desire to have a quilting business and has put so much work into it. Finally made the decision to quit her day job so that she could go all in on her quilting job and making that happen. One of the reasons that she can do that is that she knows that she has the support from me as her coach, and not just me, but all of the other coaches in my membership and all the other members. She knows that she's the one who is keeping herself from being successful. The more that she can work on herself, the more success she can have. I'm super excited that she took that leap of going all in on herself. Let's look at identity shifts and what can we do about this. Now, there's a story about a young man who was not doing well at school and he wrote his SAT and he received a score of 1,480 out of 1,600, which is an extremely high score. This completely shocked him and realized, oh my goodness, I am way smarter. Even his mother was like, are you sure this was your score? This score just changed so much for him. And he realized, oh, I am really smart. I can do all these things. He went to a really good college. He became one of the top entrepreneurs for a magazine in the country. 12 years later, after he took the SAT, he received a letter in the mail informing him that he was one of 13 people that had been sent the wrong SAT score by mistake. His real score was 740, which was exactly half of what it was. I actually heard this story not too long ago and have been really thinking about the power of your belief in yourself. I'm curious for you. What do you believe about yourself and your capabilities? When I was in, I think, my first year of university, 18 years old, at church, we had a Christmas dinner. And they asked for volunteers, and I grew up with 5 siblings. I was used to, and I made lots of dinners. I volunteered, and one of the ladies in charge, she just said, oh, Dara, you're going to do the mashed potatoes for 200 people. So I just peeled potatoes for 200 people, and I just made mashed potatoes for 200 people. Even though I'd never done it before, I want you to think about in your life, what are some of those experiences where someone was just like, hey, go and do that thing? These are pretty easy ones, like having a baby. For those of you with a baby, this is your baby, go for it. Or maybe your first day of the job. Dr. Carol Dweck of the Stanford University about the growth mindset is we can have a fixed mindset, which says things like, I'm not smart enough. Look at my score. I couldn't do anything like that. Or look at my family. We're not those kind of people. Or look what the country I come from. I'm just this small little country. Or look at look at my high school. It wasn't fancy. So those are the fixed mindset. And then there's the I can figure it out, which is the growth mindset. When you have the growth mindset, It's even thinking, I am capable of getting better. I can do hard things. I can learn from my mistakes. There's a lot of different phrases that you can tell yourself that will help you. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Why am I bringing this up with identity shifts? Now, I've been doing a deep dive for my membership, for the ladies who are attending my retreat. And we're working on this book, this concept of personality isn't permanent. Now, personality tests are a $2 billion industry. There's a lot of money. What Disney princess are you? Or what, you might even take in my quiz of perfectionism. I hope you have. A lot of us are wanting people to tell us who we are. They're wanting us to tell us our identity because we talked about in the last episode that it takes creativity. Creativity is risky, and creativity involves vulnerability and courage. If we can just have someone tell us who we are and let us know what we can expect from ourselves, then we feel like that takes out that level of difficulty. I'm going to tell another story. I don't really like this story, but it goes along with the theme. There's a man who grew up in a small town. He was kind of made fun of. People weren't really nice to him. He left that town and he decided he was going to make something of himself. He joined the army and had a very successful career. He decided to retire and he wanted to go back to his hometown, even though they weren't always so nice to him. But he thought, time passes. They treated him like they did 40 years had never passed. Instead of this man standing up and saying, hey, wait a minute, you can't treat me like this, he just kind of fell back into those old behaviors. When I tell these stories and about identity, the thing that's the most exciting about the tools that I teach, the process that I teach, is that we are always creating our identity. It had to start somewhere. It wasn't like you were born and there was a little tag on you that said, this girl quilts and this girl does this. There wasn't a prescription that said, this is who I'm going to be. It was this, I'm not saying that we don't have propensities, right? Like I have 5 children. They were all different. Like they all had, one of my children as a baby, I could tell he was this old soul. Like one was just very playful. One was just very adventurous and didn't ever think of any consequences. One would just sleep anywhere. We have different propensities to doing things, but our personality is not set, and it's not something that we need to look for outside of us. When we talk about the difference between identity and personality, it's who we want, it's who we are becoming. As I think about our identity shifts, there's a great story I just read about a man who started smoking in high school. Then it just got out of hand. In university, he ended up smoking a pack a day. He hated it and he tried quitting. He wanted to play the trumpet and he knew that smoking was just a terrible thing for that. He graduated from university, kept trying to quit smoking, got to his new job in a new state, went into the staff room, and at that time they were smoking in the staff room. One of the staff members said, hey, do you want a cigarette? And he says, nope, never smoked, never will. I'm not a smoker. He looked at himself and was like, I guess I'm not a smoker. That was his identity. He created that. So I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to ask yourself, why first of all, why do I weigh what I weigh? Or why do I have as much fabric as I have? Or why do I watch as much TV? Or why do I have so much screen time? What is it about me that's so fixed on over-consuming? What is it? Why am I doing that? And then I want you to really look at why. And when you do that, I want to challenge you to book a call with me. Book a call with me and say, Dara, this is why I'm this way. Now, I'm going to tell you something that's embarrassing. When I got a life coach in 2018, the summer of 2018, she told me that she had a way to solve any problem. And I was like, that is a bunch of baloney. I do not believe it. Normally I'm very happy. Normally I'm like very positive, but I was not at that time. We moved. I didn't love where we moved. Our house was so small. Now I have this beautiful studio. I didn't have it then. I was sharing my studio with my daughter and in our garage that we put some flooring in. And anyways, it was an interesting time. And every time she coached with me, she was able to solve the problem. It was so interesting to me that just by some tools for my brain, I could have resolution, which is weird because I'm making sushi tonight and I have sushi tools and I can make sushi. And when I make a quilt, I have quilting tools and I can make a quilt. Why would I be so surprised that if I have mind tools, I can change my mind and my life and my trajectory of my life? And it's because we can either be like this man that moved back to a small town and everyone treated him like that, or we could be like this young man who got the wrong score but then believed that he could do it. And I want to tell you right now, you can do it. If I can do, and I know people say this, but it actually blows my mind. If I can do what I have done, if I can show you that I can lose 50 pounds without counting calories, without tracking steps, raising 5 kids all through a pandemic, building an incredible business, all through all of it, kids going off to going off to school, missions, all the things. I can solve any problem. I can figure it all out. I can do these things. And you can too. When you have the right tools, you can do it. That is why I'm challenging you. I love that you're watching this or listening to my podcast. But what's really going to move the dial and really make the difference in your life is by taking action. You're almost there. It's like we're besties anyway. Let me help you. All right. Can't wait to see you.
If you aren't loving your current life and hear yourself saying things like, I should be happier, I should be getting more done, or question how productive and fulfilled you are, this podcast is for you. I'm Dara Thomason, professional quilter turned life coach for quilters, where I show you how to overcome obstacles like perfectionism, people pleasing, overeating, overcomplicating life, so that you can really start to enjoy your life by learning and using tools for your brain to help you transform your everyday living. Are you ready to make these changes? I'm ready to help. Let's start your transformation one UFO at a time.